Good evening to our viewers in the West, and thank you for joining us on this Wednesday night. Tonight, President Biden is calling on all Americans to stand up to protect our democracy amid the threats that election deniers pose to the voting process. The White House says the president is seeking common ground with voters, that our country's future is more important than our political parties. All this is taking place as the House continues to investigate the January 6th attack on the Capitol, in which thousands attempted to interfere with the verification of the 2020 presidential election. And it comes just days after the alleged attempted murder of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband by an attacker who broke into their San Francisco home with the intent to kidnap her. And with just 6 days until the midterms, a number of Republican candidates suggest they would not accept the results unless they are declared the winner. CBS's Nancy Cordes will start us off tonight from the White House. Good evening, Nancy.
Good evening, Norah. White House officials say that the president had been intending to return to this topic for weeks, but that the issue took on added urgency after the attack on Paul Pelosi. Republicans argue it's simply an attempt to change the subject and demonize them in the closing stretch of a rough campaign.
We can't pretend it's just going to solve itself.
An ominous warning from President Biden, who argued democracy itself will be on the ballot next week.
We can't ignore the impact this is having on our country. It's damaging, it's corrosive, and it's destructive.
Echoed by former President Obama in Nevada.
They seem to be willing to just make stuff up.
With 6 days to go, the two are taking on the hundreds of major Republican candidates who have expressed doubt about the validity or integrity of the last election. According to a CBS News count, that number includes more than half of the GOP candidates for governor, U.S. Senate, and the U.S. House of Representatives.
Instead of waiting until an election is over, they're starting well before it. They're starting now. They've emboldened violence and intimidation of voters and election officials.
Come on out, Steve Bannon.
One of the most prominent election deniers is Arizona's gubernatorial candidate, Kari Lake.
Turn around, because they always tell me in the media that nobody wants the elections were the most fair and honest. Everything was fine. How dare you question it? Let them know. Do you want fair and honest elections? Let them know.
In Mesa, Arizona, a group was just barred from coming within 75 feet of a ballot drop box after some of its armed members were accused of intimidating voters.
I expect to win.
In Ohio last night, Senate candidate J.D. Vance said he'll accept the results of his own race, but stands by his criticisms of 2020.
I just want our elections to be as good as they possibly can be. Ohio is a great model, but I think other states could do a lot better.
2 years after that election in 2020, there is still no evidence of systematic voting problems. In his speech, President Biden argued that election lies and conspiracy theories could spark chaos once again, the way they did on January 6th. Norah?
Quite a warning, Nancy Cordes. Thank you.